Together with a friendly exploration group, we set off towards a place at the end of an inconspicuous, barely visible dirt path, deep among the trees and dense thickets where a forgotten farm lay hidden. Time had truly stopped there, almost completely invisible from the outside, as if deliberately cut off from the world. Only the abandoned machines and collapsing roofs betrayed its presence. The moment we crossed the gate, we felt something strange, a mix of unease and fascination. In front of us stretched a courtyard surrounded by farm buildings, barns, pigsties, chicken coops, all overgrown with ivy and covered with a thick layer of dust and silence. On the right stood the residential house, forming a U-shape with the neighboring barns. At the very center of this courtyard, the atmosphere felt like something from another world, as if we had traveled back in time by decades. In one of the buildings, high above the entrance, an old clock hung. It had stopped precisely at 12:21. None of us could say what might have happened at that hour, but there was something in the air that made it feel like no coincidence. The buildings were in tragic condition: cracked walls, partially collapsed roofs, floorboards that creaked ominously with every step. We only managed to enter the attic for a brief moment. After a few steps, the floor sagged worryingly, and we had to turn back. The cellars were dry but empty, as if someone had carefully removed anything that could reveal the place's history. But what we saw inside the main house will stay with us for a long time. It felt as if the residents had just stepped out for a moment and never returned. The table still stood, with dusty bottles of Clark Cola from 1986 and a metal margarine tin from the 1930s. Next to it, an old radio, a black and white television, and a piano that someone had once played for children. Clothes still hung in the wardrobes, family photos on the walls, children's drawings, some signed with names that probably only a few people remember today. The bathroom looked like it was taken straight out of another era. On the sink lay a razor, a bar of soap, and a dried-up toothbrush. In the bedroom stood a large bed, with a knitstand beside it holding family photos and an old wristwatch. We stood there for a moment in silence, each lost in our own thoughts. We wondered who the people who had lived here were. What were their days like without the internet, without screens, but with time for each other? Children played outside. Board games were their entertainment. Someone played the piano. Another read books at the kitchen table. It was a different kind of everyday life, harsh but genuine. In the barn, we found an old tractor, a Massey Ferguson 175. The keys were still in the ignition, as if it was just waiting for someone to return and start it up again. We tried. The engine remained silent. Above our heads, bundles of hay, rusted farming machines, and dust hung in the air like ghosts of the past. Just when we thought we had seen everything, we came across one more building, smaller, simpler, and a bit removed from the rest. Its door creaked ominously as we opened it, most likely housing for the farm workers. A bare interior, peeling walls. We left the place in silence. We didn't know exactly what had happened there, but the farm told us its story without words, through the smell of old wood, the silence in the air, the abandoned remnants of everyday life. As if it had been waiting for someone to finally listen. Before we left the farm for good, we turned around one last time to look at it from a distance. In the glow of the setting sun, everything seemed almost unreal. Shadows danced on the barn walls, and golden rays of light illuminated the dust floating in the air like tiny particles of memory. We felt as though the place had a life of its own, trapped in the past, yet still present, as if not fully reconciled with being abandoned. Suddenly, in the absolute silence, we heard a faint crack, as if someone had closed a door. We looked at each other, surprised. Was it just the sound of aging wood breaking apart with time, or something more? With a touch of unease and a weight of reflection in our hearts, we headed to the car. Each of us felt that this place hadn't said its final word. Maybe one day we'll return, to once again immerse ourselves in its mystery. But one thing was certain, this farm, lost among the fields and forgotten by the world, left a mark on us. A trace of silence, of the past, and of stories left unfinished.